Assalamu alaikum to all of you. Thank you very much, Kashif. Very interesting insight in new technology. First of all, before start I am presentation, I would like to appreciate Mr. Arif and Mr. Abdul Qadir and the organizing committee for arranging this session. Today I will talk about the redo aortic valve replacement and aortic root enlargement in twins pregnancy and the perfusion strategy for pregnant patient. I will discuss about the introduction, perfusion strategy, optimal perfusion markers, case report, and finally conclusion. सही ठीक हाँ ठीक Heart disease is a high-risk situation for morbidity and mortality for both mother and fetus, especially when needs surgical intervention. Third trimester is considering a safe period for cardiopulmonary bypass. According to the available data, maternal mortality rate is less than 5% and the fetus mortality rate is less than 30%. First, we understand what is gestational diabetes. During pregnancy, placenta produced high level of hormones and most of them contribute to insulin resistance, which occurs in all women during late pregnancies. This kind of impairment in insulin increases the blood glucose level. The high blood glucose level during bypass will also affect on the fetus growth. These are the common fetal complications during bypass if the blood glucose level high. Respiratory system problems, heart defects, brain abnormalities, and macrosomia. Now I will discuss about the perfusion strategy. Patient position should be left lateral tilt, and this tilt will reduce the inferior vena cava compression, avoid the impairment of uteroplacental blood flow, and also increase better venous return. Minimize the length of extracorporeal circuit as much as you can. Reduce the excessive volume from the prime. Maintain priming volume at 35 degree and determine the adequate priming solutions. Hemodilution effects are reducing blood viscosity, decrease systemic vascular resistance, decrease hematocrit level, acute kidney injury, and edema. The optimal hematocrit level is essential for optimal perfusion. The hematocrit level should be 24 to 28%. However, with a lower hematocrit, the calculated pump flow rate must be increased to meet the patient oxygen consumption. Pregnant patients are hypercoagulable, so check coagulation status frequently and maintain the ACT above 480 seconds. And the calculated blood flow rate must be increased 20 to 30% higher. Temperature management is very important. Manage the temperature at 34 degree, not below than 34. Hypothermia can cause sustained uterine contraction during bypass, reduce uterine blood flow, uteroplacental hypoperfusion, and which leads to fetal hypoxia. For cardioplegia, use low potassium blood cardioplegia, avoid to use crystallite plegia, avoid hypothermic plegia, and avoid hyperkalemia. Selection of medication during bypass as a perfusionist is also very important. Avoid to use mannitol because it will cross the placenta. Use furosemide if needed. Avoid limited use of nusinephrin, or you can say phenylephrine. Phenylephrine is alpha agonist and it will compromise the blood flow of the uterus. Avoid to use sodium nitroprusside because of its cyanide toxicity effect on the fetus. Cardiotography is the very excellent device for evaluation of fetus during bypass. Normal fetal heart rate during is 120 to 160 beats per minute, and during bypass acceptable range is 110 to 130 beats per minute. Below 90 beats per minute will be considering as a fetal distress. These are the common fetal bradycardia during bypass. Maybe reduction in systemic vascular resistance, hypoperfusion, hypothermia, excessive hemodilution, sustained uterine contraction, obstruction in venous drainage. Here we can see the optimal perfusion markers. Flows 3 to 3.2 liter per minute per square meter of cardiac index. Hematocrit between 24 to 28%. Fetal heart rate 110 to 130 beats per minute. Mean arterial pressure 70 to 90. PO2 300 to 400. PCO2 35 to 45, mixed venous saturation 65 to 75%, ACT above 480 seconds, blood lactate 0.9 to 1.7 millimole per liter, and urine output 1 ml per kg per hour. Now I will share the one of the case report which we did in AKUH. And the case was redo aortic valve replacement and aortic root enlargement in twins pregnancy. Patient came from northern area. AVR was done in 2004 at AFIC. 31 years old female with 14th week twins gestation with complete heart block, severe aortic stenosis, valve was stuck, increased gradient across the valve, hypertrophic LV and LA severely dilated. Before procedure, huddle briefing and plan was discussed with team. Pre-operative assessment was done. Patient was anemic. HB level was 8.8. Circuit septum and prime with PEC RBCs due to low HB and with colloid solution. Patient position left laterally tilted. Femoral side was prepared for any emergency intervention. Standard sternotomy performed. Patient was heparinized for bypass. Central venous, aortic and venous cannulation done. Cardiac index was taken 3.3 liter per minute per square meter. Cardiopulmonary bypass initiated with good return. Low potassium plegia utilized through ostial. Mean arterial pressure was maintained between 70 to 90. Mixed venous 65 to 75. Hematocrit level was maintained between 24 to 26%. ACT was maintained adequate level. Cardiotography monitored. Fetal heart rate was observed 110 to 130 beats per minute. Maintained normothermia at 34 degree. Aortic valve was replaced and root enlargement was done. TOE evaluation perioperative done. After termination of bypass, urine output was 1100 ml. Bypass time was 235 minutes. Cross clamp was 180 minutes. post-surgery scan was normal of the baby's ultrasound scan, anomaly and growth scan was normal. Patient was discharged at 9th post-operative day and subsequently patient shifted to northern area. I conclude my presentation on this note that improved perfusion strategy, including calculated blood flows, mean arterial pressure, minimum hemodilution, normothermia, and adequate range of hematocrit can improve feto-maternal outcomes. Thank you very much.